and then there's no pressure. Okay, so I'm just going to, I'll go ahead and explain that I am doing a demonstration with a friend, colleague, fellow body worker massage therapist, Ben Brown, in New York.
In New York, yeah.
Yes, and the founder of, and how do you say, is it These Hands Create, or?
These Hands Create, yeah, These Hands Create, that's on Facebook group, yeah.
Okay.
Body workers, massage therapists.
Yes, if you want to give us a little bit of information, you can. I mean, it's awesome, but you don't have to.
No, I appreciate it. I'll be quick. It's just, honestly, it's a group that helps support massage therapists be more creative using their social media to tell their stories, attract their clients, and, build a business. So that's what we do.
That's awesome. Yes, I've enjoyed it. It's been very helpful. Thank you. Okay, and Ben has offered to be the student there, or the subject, the volunteer, so that we could demonstrate how I use muscle testing to assess clients' distance and do remote work with this work. And so Ben, I asked Ben what if he had any symptoms that he would like to focus on, and you decided knee, right? Correct?
Yeah, my left knee, correct.
Left knee. Okay. So in a case like this, I have a lot of tools that I can use, but in the upcoming Conscious Healing and the Art of Muscle Testing course, I will only be teaching, a few things. So we're going to go over those things today to give you an idea of how that works. And I use a few different types of muscle testing. I do the sway test, and that is where you stand. And you're familiar with the sway test, then? Are you, Ben? Or
I'm not. No.
Okay. And I don't know if I stand up, if you will be able to see me. Okay, but I'll just go ahead and do that. So there are things that you need to do also to set yourself up for successful and accurate testing. But I will be teaching that in the course, and I am already in the mode to be doing the testing. But with the sway test, you're standing, and you can start out by stating some truths, some absolute truths. My name is Amy, and I stay still. I'm grounded and solid in that. And if I were to say a different name, like my name is Barbara, I fall forward, because that's not true. That's not the truth. Another thing you can do, 2 + 2 is 4, and I'm standing solid. Yes, it is. 2 + 2 is 8. No, it's not. So our body or muscles will go weak in the absence of truth. And that's an easy and reliable, one of the most reliable forms of muscle testing. A lot of beginners will use that, but I use that quite a bit, actually. I like that one. Another one that I use is the O-ring test, where you just take your thumb and middle finger and make a circle, and you loop them together, and this one can be a little tricky, but you just, if it breaks, that's a no. And if it stays, that's a yes. You don't want to put too much thought in it. We are connecting to our higher consciousness, our source energy, God, whatever you want to call it, to get the information. We are testing the subconscious mind. So if you sit there and try to think too much, you can interfere with that. So you don't really want to give it much thought. And so when you were first learning this, you want to, practice quite a bit just by stating. You're kind of setting yourself up. You're programming your muscle testing. So my name is Amy, 2 + 2 is 4, just getting a feel for it. I like pizza. The sun is shining, the sun is out. I have a son named Nick. You want to do several questions that are true, and then things that are not true. 2 + 2 is 8. My name is Barbara. No. So that one can be a little tricky. And there's another one that you can do. There are several, like I said, where you take your thumb and your index finger, and you're going to kind of glide them like this. And this one's easy after you get it down, but you're going to kind of bring the thumb back and the finger the index finger forward. And if it slides forward, that's a no. That's a weak, and that's a no. So if it sticks, That is a yes. My name is Amy. 2 + 2 is 4. These are things that you just have to practice and get familiar with. But I really do, if there's any trouble getting these muscle tests down, it's good to do the sway test first to build your confidence, you know. And if for some reason you do try the sway test out and it's backwards, where like you are falling forward with a positive or true statement, that just means that you could be switched and your testing is backwards. So you can either keep it like that and have your yes be falling forward, but I like it to be, to me it makes more sense that you're solid, you're standing, and it's a yes, and falling is a weak no. And I will get more into that with how that works. Unless I can.
No, we don't get into. I was just going to ask you. There is a way of actually helping someone switch. That's
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's real easy. It's real easy. Yep.
Okay.
Lots of things, and also there are several things that can interfere with our testing, like if we're dehydrated, or the person we're working on. If you know we're getting like all these no's and nothing is showing up, or all yeses, and you know that wait, something's off. They may be switched, or they may be dehydrated, or they may have some, some things going on, some emotional things going on, and whatnot. And there are things to do. Yeah. So those are all things you have to kind of set up before you actually begin the testing. And that will all be covered in the upcoming course to make sure that you have successful and accurate results. Okay, so with the knee, as I mentioned, I do a lot of different modalities, but I'm going to just go through a very basic protocol, I guess you could say. Most of our emotions, most of our symptoms, pain, dis-ease of any kind, is the root of it is going to be, you'll have lots of different things, but the root cause is most often a negative belief held within the subconscious mind, we formed early on in life, or an emotion that's been triggered, or something like that. I test for chakras. I test to see, because our energy centers, or the chakras, have different organs, which the organs also can hold emotion. So a lot of people may have heard that like the liver and anger go together. Are you familiar with that?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So that's helpful. And I'm going to briefly go over the chakras and just, the basics of them to test, because it's a easy way to kind of, get to some of the core issues. So in this case, I'm going to test for, let's start with chakras. I'm testing this all to the knee, the left knee. Okay. So, and some people would, the chakra that shows up might not seem like it's relative, but it is. It always is. Okay. So I would say, okay, I'm making sure I'm testing Ben and not myself. That's another thing. Some people will be testing their own selves and not realize it. But I'm testing Ben, and I am checking to see if the priority chakra involved is the first one, which is the root chakra. And I get a no. The second, sacral chakra, no. The third chakra, solar plexus, no. Fourth chakra, heart chakra, I get yes. Okay, we'll see if there's another one. Fifth chakra, throat chakra, no. Sixth chakra, third eye, no. Crown, seventh, no. So priority chakra, the only one that shows up, is the heart chakra. Okay. From there, I can test a number of things. I can test, is there an organ involved? Or is this the system of the body? So I've already done a little bit of the work. So I know that, and I can go ahead and test, is there an associated organ with this chakra related to Ben's knee? And I get a no. Is there a system of Ben's body, whether it be, circulatory, muscular system, nervous system, associated with this chakra, with Ben's knee? And I get no. Okay, so next up, I'm going to ask about an emotion. There is an emotion associated with this chakra, with the heart chakra, with Ben's knee. And I get a yes. Yes. Now, when it comes to the emotions, there is a book called The Emotion Code that I recommend everyone get and read. Anyone that does any kind of healing work should get this book, The Emotion Code. Or you can even download just the chart online, but I'll be sharing that in the course. And I have my own chart with some added emotions, and I'll be sharing that in this course. But I have already tested for the emotion, and the emotion that came up was, I have it all written down here, defensiveness. Now, we could say, okay, so what do you do with that? Well, this is where I break it down even more. And this is going to get into some of the deeper work that I do. So I won't be sharing all of this. But then what I'm going to do, okay, defensiveness. Is this your defensiveness? Yes. And then what I'm going to ask with this knee pain. Now, Ben shared a little bit about his knee, but I'm going to go ahead and share with you what came up in my testing, okay? I asked when your knee is flared up and it's inflamed, or you have some inflammation stuff,
well, yeah.
That was the emotion that showed up. When we get an emotion, we also need to test if it's our emotion, or if it's been picked up by someone else, if it's an inherited emotion, all kinds of things. And we'll learn the basics of it. But what I do is I take it even further. Okay, we have an emotional reaction to things based on our belief systems. So this is where I check, is there an associated or underlying limiting or negative belief that is relative or correlated, or anything to do with this emotion? And I got a yes. And I have a whole list, which I will again be sharing in the course, of negative beliefs and even positive ones. So the negative belief was located in the heart chakra. This book is it's over 1,000 categorized negative and positive beliefs, and I have it downloaded on my phone. So I don't look at any of this. I don't go through each one of them. Break it down. So is it in the first chakra, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh? And then you break it down by rows. So I got heart chakra, and the specific belief that showed up was, I have to be sad if someone else is sad. Now this may not make sense yet, but we're going to take this even further. So what do you do with this? All right, so I first go, when did this knee issue begin and really start? You said, what was it, like 6 years ago you had, or how long ago was that?
So when we referenced it as an injury, it was like 16 years ago.
Oh, 16, okay.
Yeah, that's it. But when we referenced it as sort of like the emotional, or not the emotional, but the flare up when I was that was about 4 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Right. So,
all right. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, because I tested 4 years and 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I don't know if I heard that. I don't know if the 6 was in there, but it's hard to know exactly what you were doing. Believe me, I'm like a detective when it comes to this stuff, and I can really break it down to almost the day sometimes. So that's as far as I went with that. Like 4 years, 2 weeks ago, you could get the calendar out and maybe even, I don't know, see what you were doing at that time. Like what time of year it was, because different things in life will, all of our senses, we perceive our environment and our world in which we live through our senses. So if we smell something, see something, hear something, feel something, taste something, that reminds us of something in the past when we happen to have something going on in our lives, or an injury or something like that,
right,
can trigger on a subconscious level this emotion and then belief. Okay, does that all that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So I got 4 years and 2 weeks ago, and I didn't go any further than that because I was trying to hurry up. But then what I do is I take it back even further. When was the very, very first time you experienced this same kind of defensiveness or belief? Where did this come from? And I got at age 10.
Okay.
Age 10 and a half-ish, something 10 and a half years old. And the defensiveness was not actually yours, but your mother's.
Okay.
So I don't know anything about it, and it could be a number of things. Maybe you would know. I don't know if this could be, do you recall her being defensive about anything with you or anything? Was there anything going on in your life, or?
I mean, not that I know of directly at the moment. I mean, I think this would have been much later. I mean, my parents were divorced, I believe, by then. So I don't think it was my parents in that context. Okay. And I had a stepfather to come into the picture, but that was, I think I was older than that. So I have to be honest, 10 and a half doesn't stand out to me as anything. It doesn't mean it's not true. It's just, it doesn't stand out to me.
Yes, because it can be something simple. Like you can actually see a parent having an argument, or hear them on the phone having an argument, or being defensive, or something like that. And this stuff is real when you're a kid, from a child's mind or view, and how they perceive the world at that time. All kinds of things can occur. So, is there anything with "I have to be sad" if someone else is sad that might ring true to that time period of your life, or when you were young, like as far as around parents or family, or maybe some kind of I'm not sure if it would be an empathy, or kind of like a way to, how when we're kids we just feel like we're responsible for certain things when we really aren't. But
no, I understand what you're saying. I don't have a, as you're saying, I mean, I really don't have a direct recollection. I know that I definitely am empathic in my work, and I've always been very emotional in that context, very much aware of other people's feelings and their expression. So it's not far off. I just don't have a direct correlation, but I mean, that could easily be something that I picked up. I mean, even now as a body worker, I think that's what makes my work successful, is that I'm able to really feel and be with the person on the table. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. And a majority of massage therapists, body workers are empaths, and that's why we're good at it, because we can feel, we can sense things. And are you very sensitive to energy then? So like you can feel other people's emotions and things like that?
Totally.
Okay. Yeah. So that's another thing I'm going to be going over in the course as well, is how to, because we will pick up other people's emotions and not realize it. I didn't even recognize or acknowledge or know that I was an empath until 5 or 6 years ago. I've been going along all these years and, having symptoms of anxiety or claustrophobia or whatever. And when I found out or realized that I was an empath, I was like, oh my gosh, this makes sense. This makes total sense.
Right.
So I've had to learn how to cleanse myself and protect myself and things like that. And in this course, I'm going to teach you, I mean, there have been many times where I have not done, the proper setup or preparation and getting myself ready to work with someone else. And I do a lot of deep work, and, the session will go on, and later in the day, I may have like some strange, weird pain or some symptom that is not typical. And I'll just muscle test and figure out, okay, what's this? Is this an emotion? Did I pick this up from someone else? And, I can find out and then clear it and release it. And then it's like, oh, it's a relief. It's off. It's gone. So regardless of all that, it doesn't really matter if you remember. I mean, sometimes it's very helpful if you can put something together and there's a connection, there's an aha moment. But when I think of, okay, I have this good resource. Louise Hay has a book that talks about emotions and, different symptoms. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. But there's another one called Permanent Healing, and this is from the School of Metaphysics. And so it has, like physical disorder or symptom, and then it will have the mental attitude or cause or whatever to that. And so under knees, just under like knee, it says, refusing to cooperate with earlier learning and desires of the self, fighting self and others, holding self back from fulfilling desires, thinking self incapable of fulfilling desires. Then it has like underneath that, stiff knees. Is your knee stiff?
In general, no.
Okay. So that was just that's a different, that's like being inflexible in one's thoughts and opinions. But I don't know if anything with the first one has any anything that you can resonate with at all. Refusing to cooperate with earlier learning and desires of the self, fighting self and others. You could probably find some.
Those I can see applications. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then with the inflammation, I'm just going to look and see if they have something in this book for that. And let me know if we're running out of time here. I actually am not looking at the time. So if you need to go, just give me a heads up.
We're getting close.
Okay, here's inflammation. So inflammation, suppressed anger, overreaction to outer or inner environment due to defensiveness. Well, interesting, because I did not know that it said that. So that's interesting. So suppression, I'm going to send you this stuff so you can look over it. But what we're going to do now real quick before you have to go is we're going to clear out.
Okay.
We're going to clear it out. So what you're going to do is you're going to just think of the word, and then you'll take a nice deep breath in, and then just exhale fully. You imagine yourself exhaling the energy and vibration of the word and anything that has to do with the word defensiveness. So defensiveness, you want to take a nice deep breath in. Breathe it out. And imagine it just clearing from your entire existence, mind, body, and spirit, all the way. And then the belief, sometimes it takes a few breaths, but we are on a time. We're restricted on time here. So the belief, I have to be sad if someone else is sad, or we're going to breathe that one out as well. So we're thinking about, I have to be sad when someone else is sad. Taking a nice deep breath in. And exhale. There are different ways to do this, lots of different ways. And you might want to work with this a little bit later, because it's usually when you clear something, you'll be able to feel like a lightness overcome you. And then we're just going to replace that. So that book that I was speaking of, the 1000 Categorized Beliefs, it has, we can replace the negative with a new one. And the one that I came up with is, I honor others' success in my own. And so, and again, you can do this however you want. Sometimes people will tap on top of their head and say, I honor others' success in my own. I like to do it 3 times. I honor others' success in my own. And you can do it, and then, you can do it that way, however you want to do it.
I've done tapping before, yeah.
Yeah, right, yeah, it's very good. It's a very good, I incorporate that a lot as well. So it may not seem like a lot, but it really is. And you'll be surprised, because some things might start coming to you later on in the day, or, you may have some like aha moments of like, oh yeah, okay, right?
Yeah.
And this is just a little basic thing to get started here. With your knee, I'd like to talk to you more about it, but
please,
it's our time. I thank you for offering.
Thank you.
Yes, and everyone check out These Hands Create, right?
Yep. We welcome other body workers, but I'm really excited about what you're teaching here. So thank you for having me today.
Excellent. Great. Thank you.
Okay. I'll see you.
Okay.